Shannon Campbell from Gilbert, Arizona, and I'm out here to try and win the King of the Hammers. You know, when I first started racing and stuff, I was building my own stuff because I couldn't afford to pay no one to do it, and we got to where we got popular doing it and people started coming to us, and we build them for a living and build them for other competitors. I've got quite a few cars out here that other competitors are driving and stuff, and you know, now it's a shop that we have, the family runs it, and you know, kids when they're not in school or working, they're down there working on their stuff and helping me out with all the work I have.
I work full-time at our family business and help my dad whenever I can, and you know, I just do what I can to make everything all ready to go.
My name's Bailey Campbell. I'm 18 years old and I'm the youngest and only woman in the 4400 class for the 2015 King of the Hammers.
King of the Hammers is actually one of the, I think, 8 events that we travel around the U.S. for. You know, it's a part of a larger series, and this is the largest race of it.
Started in 2007. I had 12 guys in a case of beer, and really just tried a proof of concept that even this kind of racing could exist, because there was slow rock crawling and go fast desert racing, but no one had ever mixed the two together.
This year it's 215 miles. We're doing most of the rock trails. They added Crowbar back in, which is a trail that's way out west, and we'll do the rock trails twice after we come through the pits and stuff, and it's brutal on a car. We pre-ran it this week, and it's going to be hard to finish this race.
This course is pretty rough. You know, I think it's a lot rougher than last year, and just the rock trails are a lot more torn up, and I think it's just going to be a bigger challenge, and I think you're just going to have to work on keeping the car together more.
Motorsports inherently is dangerous. Motorsports on a closed course, on an asphalt track with 12-foot high safety fences is dangerous. You take all the safety fences away, you take the asphalt away, you take all the markers away and say just go that way really fast. And by the way, there's somebody out there watching you. You've upped the degree of risk pretty significantly. We do a lot of things to try to control that. We've got 2.5 miles of bicycle fence out here trying to kind of cordon off spectator areas so people can get close enough to the action that they can feel part of the action, but not close enough that they're going to be part of the action.
It is dangerous. You know, we're traveling up to speeds of 130 miles an hour sometimes on these lake beds, and after you just beat them up through the hills like that, there's no telling what's going to break off or something when you're running a next section at real high speeds. You know, you can flip these cars and wreck them, and you know, luckily no one's been hurt real bad in this sport yet, and hopefully it stays that way.
My first race was in Moab, Utah, on my favorite course. Surprisingly, it's my favorite course. It was about 3 years ago, and it was my first race. I was getting ready to pass a guy, and I didn't know there was a jump on the left side because I've been taking the right side all day long. And my brother told me to lift, and I had already slowed down because he was saying, no, don't go that way, like stay to your right. And I was too slowed down, and I lawn darted in between 2 jumps and totally wrecked his car. And I was just so upset. My dad's gonna kill me. I crashed the car my first race.
We've been trying to get her involved in this for a couple of years now, and you know, she's always got something else going on. She runs her own photography business. She's always busy, but she's in now.
Well, they kind of grew up in the middle of it, and I started putting them in cars when they were about 7 and 8, and it just kind of, you know, I didn't know it was going to turn into this big of an affair. I look back and I kind of wish I would have got them into soccer and football or something instead, something less expensive.
My dad was telling me a story the other night about me and my brother out in Florence in Arizona just trail wheeling, and I was sliding around the corners in one of our buggies, and I guess I almost tipped it over, and then I saved it, and then I just cried for the rest of the day and made him get behind the driving wheel, and then I didn't drive for 2 more years.
She's getting better. She's not such a nervous wreck anymore, and I know when we first started she was pulling her hair out.
Sometimes I worry about them, but I got some pretty good friends that are co-driving with them and stuff. And on the short course races where it's more aggressive and you're passing and stuff, I remember last year at Glen Helen, it was my daughter's 2nd race in Ultra 4, and it's a really aggressive race. I mean, they start 25 cars. They qualify like 100 cars, and they take 25 to the main, and she qualified and got in, and I had to start behind her, and I remember coming up through there and you know, you're like, oh man, I hope she's all right up there. And then I come around the corner and I got on the radio. I was like, watch out, sis, I'm coming through. And I bounced off her, put her in the wall and took off. And her co-driver was like, yep, make room for him, he's coming. I'd like to say I plan on taking it easy and trying to win this thing, but you never know what's going to happen, you know. And after my little test session we just had, I don't know I'm going to have to change my whole deal. I thought I was taking it pretty easy, and I tore my car up pretty good. We got to work on it all night now and get ready for tomorrow. But yeah, my plan this year is to try and take it easy and use my head, and that's what's won it for me twice, is just, you know, being smart about it and not overdriving the car and make it last. If you got to work on it, you're going to the back.
Shannon Campbell probably has more raw talent and more ability to control a car than anyone I've ever known. But even to have that and to be as humble as he is, and to be able to approach everything with, gee golly shucks, I'm just here to have fun, until he puts his helmet on, then he goes crushes people in the desert. He's a hero of the sport. He belongs in our Off-Road Hall of Fame. He is the guy. He's the man.